Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hello, I'm Safira Firdausi, student number 8. I'm from group 3, Phonology and Morphology Research, and in this video I will review about one of example of phonology research. The title is Phonology and Vocal Behavior in Toddlers with Autism Spectrum Disorder, and the research purpose of this study is to examine the phonological and others vocal production of children with autism spectrum disorder or ASD, and to compare this production to those of age match and language matched controls. In this research, the research questions are first, in what age they able to recognize and arrange letters and numbers, and then the second is, can phonological awareness help toddlers who have ASD to compose their words. And then the research method, this is a mixed method. The first, they use participant observation, so the toddlers will monitored by the researchers, and they accompanied by their parents or caregivers, and a clinical child psychologist who had 2 years experience with ASD children. And then the second is correctional research. They divided the toddlers into two groups. The first is ASD and the second is TDA. It is the typically developing language method. So in ASD, the toddlers is from 11 until 24 months, and then the TDA is older than 24 months, which means more than 2 years old. And what I find from this research is the first was selected to match the group with ASD and chronologic age, and then the second, the TDI group, was selected to match the group with ASD on expressive language level as measured by the FABS. And then the third is vocalization sample collection from 2 groups of toddlers. My opinion about this research is the research study about how the ASD toddlers able to recognize and arrange letters and numbers, and in addition to directly descending, they use intermediaries, namely parent or caregiver of the toddlers, because they can't they still afraid with the strangers, right? And then the researchers also finding how ASD toddlers compose their words with phonological awareness. So that's it. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Untitled Chapter, and I'm going to explain about the Phonology Research Part 2. Phonology Research Part 2, a phonological analysis on the English consonants of Sundanese EFL speakers. The research purpose. This study focuses on the description of the English consonant systems spoken by speakers of Sundanese backgrounds. The research questions are: first, how are the English consonant system of EFL Sundanese speakers in Islamic Education Department of State Institute for Islamic Studies Salatiga? And then second, what's the most frequent errors on pronouncing English consonants of EFL Sundanese speakers in Islamic Education Department of State Institute for Islamic Studies Salatiga? The research method. Qualitative. The study used the participant observation, and the findings and discussion. The instrument of this study are field observation and interview guide. The researchers got the data based from collection of phonetic experiments in field research. One of the struggle for Indonesian people when learning foreign language is pronunciation and the analysis on Sudanese minimal pairs of consonant sounds. So from this research, I got that the researchers have two objectives. First one, to know the English consonant systems, and second, frequent errors on pronouncing English. This research able to found the result of the analysis that if Sudanese students made a lot of errors, the research using experimental phonetic method to find the errors that students did. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Afan Setiawan and my student number is 034. I want to talk about the morphological research examples under the title Effect of Morphological Awareness on Second Language Vocabulary Knowledge by Fatma Demiray Albulut, Amban Izzat Baysal University, Turkey. Research purpose is understanding the relationship between morphological awareness and vocabulary knowledge of university preparatory class students. Then research questions: does morphological awareness contribute to vocabulary teaching and learning process in the classroom? Does teaching vocabulary with morphological awareness strategy help learners to enlarge their vocabulary knowledge? Now we're going to the research method. Research method or analysis technique. The experimental research has been observed quantitatively with two different groups of students in senior high school, or I said before, university preparatory class students. And then the first group is experimental group, was provided with morphology and vocabulary based teaching as a treatment. So the first group is going to talk about the prefix, suffix, and root knowledge, and then they were given vocabulary teaching activities with collocations, synonyms, and morphological analysis of words. Is it different when the second group had only give the traditional teaching on the basis of note taking, like memorizing, and then Turkish equivalent of English word, showing pictures and using dictionary. Then the instrument is about the group design or the control group design for the pre-test and post-test to measure the effect of the treatment. So here the discussion and findings. The findings of this study propose that morphological guidelines direct learners' consideration in a particular way, characterize learners' recognition on morpheme areas, and directly helps them to find the relationship between their words and meanings. So in my opinion, the findings, let's talk about the first experimental group has shown that they were knowing about the differences in the class word like adjective and adverbial. Then the research showed that teaching vocabularies in terms of prefix, suffix, and or roots help learners to keep their vocabulary knowledge in long-term memory and made them recognize the items intentionally and incidentally. It can be concluded that morphological awareness thus may contribute to vocabulary teaching and can be placed in English language teaching, pedagogy, and curriculum. In the classroom environment, the instructors may give explicit instruction and then learners can build their own morphological knowledge so that they can analyze the morphological structure of a new vocabulary item automatically. Based on this research, my opinion is maybe for this study, especially the treatment activity could be applied in speaking class, because when we speak up we must have a lot of vocabulary items. In this case, result has shown us the differences while the students are given the vocabulary items with morphology awareness. The student might keep it in a long-term memory. And it's very helpful to understand where the part of speech came from. I mean, while studying the vocabulary items with knowing the form of prefix, suffix, and root of the words, then we will be required in shaping for the example adverbial word by giving suffix ly on the major verbs and so on. So thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Triska Hardelia, and here I want to explain the morphology research 2. The title is the Analysis of Morphology in Writing an English Narrative Composition by Paramita Kusuma Wardani. And this research purpose is to analyze about morphology in writing an English narrative composition. And the research questions, number 1 is there any errors in using morphology by students on their English narrative compositions? Number 2, what the error aspects are commonly appear in using morphology by students on their English narrative compositions? And then, what is the research method or analysis technique? This research is using descriptive method which explain about the symptoms relating with the reason situation. It consists on the effort of giving the note, the analysis, and the interpretation of the reason symptoms, considering the characteristics such as the facts explanation straight to the problem and reason variables are not manipulated by the researchers. And then the point 4 is finding and discussion. Researcher divided the error into different levels of derivational and inflectional aspects. In derivational level, the student still cannot distinguish the form of class word. As the example, the giant was very glutton. The word glutton is a noun. Meanwhile, the place of the word should be an adjective form. Then the correct sentence should be he was a glutton giant. And then the similarity with the inflectional level. The students also didn't change the tense of the sentence. Why the narrative must use the past sentence is because the learner retells the story to the readers. As example, he was a rascal and he never listens to his mom. The word listens should be changed into the word listening in order to make parallelism in the sentence. And then my opinion for this research is before we go to the real sentence like a narrative paragraph, it'll be better if teaching the structure of morphology first, such as first teacher should give a lesson of form word. After that, the structure of using correct grammar for narrative. It should be past tense or present tense, so that the learners at least can distinguish between derivational and inflectional aspects in it. Okay, I think that's all from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.